Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Inside the IFL. It's your boy Doug Bose, and I'm joined, as always, by Mr. Ed Ritter. Ed is under the weather today. He is so under the weather today, his son thought he was going to die last night.
Oh, it was great. Yeah, nothing like freaking out your 10-year-old and having him say, "Daddy's going to die. I'm going to watch my daddy die." I'm like, oh, God.
Daddy's going to die. Oh, hell. Oh, boy. Poor kid. Why you had to do that to him for?
Hey, it wasn't something I planned.
No. Oh, man.
No.
So much to cover, though, today.
Let's get into it. Start wherever you want to start.
Well, of course, the best place to start is we just had week 1.
Yes, we did.
And, just a general consensus question, no bias, no bullshit, no nothing. My question to you is, what do you feel about week 1? How do you feel it went down from we'll use the term business standpoint, from a fun standpoint, all that stuff?
I will say this, from every aspect, from the business, the fun, everything, I'm giving us an A. It was awesome. I was in every game. Every game I watched, I was glued to the screen going, oh my. It was awesome. I had the one game I had, a heavy investment in, the Carolina game, because I'm the defense coordinator. Plus, I have players. My son have players. He has players there, and I was intrigued with the New York game because, my other son is there, and he was a bit upset at one point because they didn't throw him the ball, and I said, well, yeah, they kind of tried to throw you the ball, but guys were knocking it away. I said, relax. I said, you'll get your catches. You'll be all right.
Right.
And then his response to me was, but I'm a goal, damn it. I'm like, wait, what did you say? This is my 10-year-old. He said, I'm a goal, damn it. He said, I should be dominating. I said, I understand that. I said, that's usually how it's supposed to work. I said, you also have to take into consideration the offense you're running. You got to take into consideration the other team, what they're doing. I said, relax, you'll get your stuff.
Oh, man.
And then he saw those couple big catches he had, and that made him happy.
There you go. Yeah, that's fun stuff.
But from top to bottom throughout the entire league, I think every team brought it. I think everybody was involved in the game. Everybody enjoyed the games. I think we did a hell of a job.
No, I believe so too.
Plain and simple. And if we didn't do a hell of a job and people have issues, please let us know. Like I said, I'll say it again. I have big shoulders, so doesn't bother me. If you want to cuss me out, cuss me out. If you want to say, hey, you didn't do this, you didn't, go ahead. I don't care. Yeah, crap doesn't bother me.
In the words of Vince McMahon, you're going to eat a lot of crap in your life, and you're going to learn to like the taste.
Exactly.
I can't believe that. I can't believe that man never said that, but that's crazy.
Oh, I can believe he said it.
That's insane.
But I honestly do. I think for our first week ever, we had a few issues, but for the most part, it went off without a hitch. Everything went well. Games were awesome.
Yes.
I don't know what more you could ask for. I just don't. Like I said before, and you've said it, we're not here to have all the bells and whistles and all of this and all that. We are here to have fun in this hobby that we love, and I think we did that. We put something out there that the people that are in this league can enjoy and will continue to enjoy it and have fun. That's what it comes down to.
As I say, IFL, choose greatness. I am making sure that no matter what we do, we are not a significantly flawed league, and we're doing the best that we can. And that's the way it goes. And there was a small shading error that took place during the Outlaw Flight game. The ticker didn't pop up right away in the third quarter of the one game. Small little things, but like you said, this was our first time out. All the games ran well. And I'll say this right here, right now, and this is not tooting my own horn at all by any means. I honestly have never enjoyed a week of games, plural, than I did this past week.
Oh, I agree. I mean, like I said, I was into every game, even even the first game that some people said, "Oh, I wasn't." Even that was a damn good game.
I'm
And
still catching
then,
my breath over that damn New York.
oh,
Uh, was it the New York Tokyo game?
right,
I'm still catching my breath on that one. That was insane.
it was, yeah, it was awesome. So, but yeah, like I said, if anybody in the IFL community didn't enjoy what happened, didn't like it, had a problem,
Mm-hmm.
you know, let us know, and we'll do what we can to do. What we have to do to try to fix things. But honestly, I don't think there's really not a whole lot of issues there. You know,
Right.
People have got to understand this is our first time doing this. It's that was our first week. Things should get a little smoother as we go along. It, it's a process.
Amazing. And I'm going to point out this real quick. This way, guys are aware. If you take a look at the games that happened this week, I'm not afraid to announce it, mention it, discuss it, however you want to word it here on the air. It was brought to my attention from a couple people. They had a little bit of concerns with the possibility of Mr. Chris Davis running the game he was a part of. I have no concerns, worries, doubts, fears of his honesty. He's never given me a reason to believe that he would ever be anything negative. And most of the people who brought something up to me 100% agree with me. What they were saying is they just don't want to allow other people to have the opportunity to proclaim cheating and bias because we've all been down that road before and they didn't want to see it fall into our lap. So if you look at the games, I ran the flight game last week, and the quality of the game is horrifying compared to what Davis was able to put together. So I made the decision that's not going to happen again because, as far as I'm concerned, if I trust him and other people involved trust him, but we're just concerned of people being stupid, I'm not even acknowledging those freaking people, and I'm going to let the guy do what he was hired to do, and he's going to be running all 4 games right now. And the only way I'll be running a game is if he's short on time and needs me to pick up the slack.
Okay with me.
And I know he wants to get on this call here with us as well, as he was just mentioning that to me. So we'll see if we can get him in here.
We can get him in. Let's get him in.
And so, I mean, like I said, it's only fitting that he runs the games. The quality was just so obvious. So that's the way I look at it. Whoa. And somebody's not a happy camper at the time. Okay, whatever that means. Oh, okay, it was somebody that just came through my Facebook.
What the heck?
Yeah, somebody messaged me on Facebook. I am not a happy camper. I didn't know what it was at first. I just happened to see it pop up into my bottom right-hand corner.
Good afternoon, everyone.
And there's Mr. Davis.
Mr. Davis, how are you?
I'm doing great. Just woke up.
Good.
Don't know if you caught the announcement. I just informed everybody that you're.
Yeah, I just caught it.
Oh. So we got that squared away. So, but I got a lot I got to get into here. I know Ed's under the weather, and I know he didn't want to be on here all along because there might be moments where he's like mute and he's off puking somewhere. So,
can I just address it real quick and just say it like this? Is that for you guys being concerned of calling bias or something like that, or assuming that I might cheat or anything like that? Keep in mind with this, why would we go through so much trouble to create this league only for a person like me to cheat? If anything, that takes the fun out of the game. I mean, it wouldn't be right if I'm sitting up there, winning like 15 to 16 games straight by just scamming, just by looking through your whole playbook and this, that, and the third in order to get an advantage over you. Now, if I actually do end up winning like 15 something games straight, that's only because that I had a good build going on. Plain simple. I mean, like I knew exactly. I mean, like that's the only way I could even win that many games, and I don't even see myself winning that many games unless I really feel like that the build I have is damn near impossible to stop. So please don't accuse me of cheating because that takes the absolute fun out of the game, and that basically just wasted all the hard work that we would have done to get up to this point.
Right. And then, like I said, let me just touch on it one more time. I didn't. There was not one person who flat out accused you. They just didn't want anybody to have that platform if they wanted to proclaim anything because we've all had that experience with bias before. So
And that's understandable, but there's not going to be any of that with this league.
right, because we will not. We will make sure we are that this league is not significantly flawed.
Yes, sir.
End of discussion on that. So let's get into running by these games that just took place this week. And since we got you on the call, Chris, we can get you involved in your thoughts as well. Uh,
Alright.
so while we just go right to what was the game of the week, the very first legit real game that counted in IFL history, and it was the Carolina Pack at the Baltimore Bulls. It was a shootout. It was a classic arena style game, ended 45-55 in favor of the Bulls. So, Ed, I'm going to go to you first. Both teams went over 500 total yards of offense. Ridiculous. Over 1,000 yards in this game. It was 1,000. What was it? 1,070, I think, was the total yardage between the two teams. 55-45. A shame if either one of those two teams, especially for the Pack, considering they lost, if they'd have played exactly like that, put up them numbers against any of the other teams this week, they'd have won. So,
True.
your thoughts on that particular game?
As a fan, it was awesome. Awesome to watch. It was. It really was. As a losing coach, it was so. You know, I mean, I was extremely honored to be a part of that very first game, but at the same time, watching your team give up 55 points kind of pissed me off. But you know, but all you can do is you live and learn. Simple. I mean, you know, no sense of freaking out. Just go to the playbook and say this didn't work. You're out. That didn't work. Just throw everything out that didn't work, and go from there. It's not. I mean, but it was a hell of a game. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better first game. I really couldn't have.
Right. Yeah, I had a blast watching the game. Sitting here, it was going back and forth, and I was just like, wow, these two teams are really bringing it. These two teams are really just giving each other the business here, and I was just very, very pleased with what I'd seen. So, I mean, both these two teams, I think, are going to have quality season, and it's just going to all come down to if either of these two teams can find some defense. And I'll say it here and I'll say it now. I mean, Mighty's never had the issue of finding defense. If we took just your numbers when you were in charge of the San Francisco Bulldogs, you had the second best defense in the league based on your games only. So you both know how to find defense. Just didn't find it in week one.
And it happens.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it does. I mean, I know we had preseason game, but even just one preseason game really doesn't gives you a little bit of stuff of what you can figure out, but still, And like I told you, and I've told Alan in private conversations, all we do as coaches and owners is we pick what we think is the best offense, best defense, whatever.
Right.
We don't run it. We don't push the buttons to make it happen. We put it in it. We let the AI do everything. And if the AI fucks it up, what can you do? I told you, I'm not sweating it anymore. I'm not letting it get to me anymore. I don't care. Wins, losses, whatever. I'm just here to have fun, be in the community, the IFL community with guys, and watch the games as it happens, And if we make the playoffs and we win it all, we do. If we don't make the playoffs, we don't. I'm not stressing nothing. I'm just not.
Right. Davis, your thoughts on that game?
That game was, oh man, I mean, like, you couldn't find a better way. I don't know, between that and the week 3 game, you you couldn't find. I'm not sorry, not week 3. Um, the game that happened in the Kitsune game, I don't think you couldn't have found any game that could have topped that. I mean,
Yeah.
dropping 50 on one team, another team dropping 40 for, like, that was crazy.
Yeah,
That was
honestly,
crazy. I mean, like, if only the Pat didn't make a few mistakes, it really would have been a close contest, and it would have been high scoring.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
yeah, like Alan and I were talking after the game. We had our receivers drop passes left and right. We had our defensive backs drop interceptions left and right. So few plays here and there, maybe it's a different story. Yeah, who knows? But it's no reason to freak out. Like I said, we don't push the buttons, we don't play the games. The computer does all that. So,
Right.
I'm not gonna lie. As I sit there and watch that game, there was times I'm like, oh my god, why aren't they doing this? And I had to say, you know what? And then I had to remind myself, I'm not playing a game. It's a computer playing a game. Stop, relax. It's because everybody does it. Because we all know we're not in charge. We're not doing anything, and it's a computer. But at the same time, you get into your game and you're watching it and you're going, "Oh my god!" Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Fun.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah, like Davis was saying, the way the Bulls Pack game started the week, and then the way the Kitsune Cobra game ended the week, you couldn't have had a better bookend of game.
That's what I said. You top to bottom, all the games just couldn't ask for. I mean, it's just. I mean, it showed right there. The IFL all year long is going to be crazy. It's going to be fun, and guys are going to be into these games.
Right. And when we don't just say the slogan for the fun of it, choose greatness. We these 8 teams showed it.
Believe it.
They showed it. So, but just to throw out the quick numbers, 450 passing yards for the Pack with 96 rushing yards for 546 total yards. And the Bulls, they had 166 rushing yards out of their 524. So, I mean, they were really running the ball much better, which, by the way, gave them 358 passing yards. But like I said, you add up the 524 yards and the 546 yards, we witnessed 1,070 total yards. And then when you take the 55 and the 45 points, that's 100 points even. That's a hell of a ball game. So those two teams are, and I saw somebody posted, I can't remember who it was. It was in the game chat when it was going on, said that both these teams need to get to the defense R Us store real quick. So I can't see both those teams playing like that anymore, because I'm pretty sure they're going to find the flaws. I know the Pack are at home this week against Tokyo. I know Baltimore's at home against New York. So we'll get into those games here in a little bit. But good showing by TJ and the Bulls. Allen and the Pack, they should also be proud. So, but following that game, we ended up having the 2 1 o'clock games on Saturday. We'll just start with the Stallions and the Bucks and Liberty. It ended 20-14. This might be the first time I've ever seen a team win a football game doing this hobby, if you will, in any league ever, where they got under 200 yards of total offense and got the victory. The Liberty held the Stallions scoreless until like the 8-minute mark in the fourth quarter. Nice bomb for a touchdown, and they ended up recovering an onside kick and getting themselves another touchdown late. But that defense, just was stout all day. Held them to 45 rushing yards, 243 passing yards. The Stallions only ended up with 288 yards. and to know that that was 108 yards better than the team that won. So I said it after the preseason game, and I'll say it again because week one showing me it again. The Liberty's defense is for real. It's legit. I love it. Their offense is suspect. We've seen Bo Davis himself make the announcement, I believe, that I know my offense is going to struggle, but I'm going to ride with the defense. So if he can just find one way to make those bronze players really click, he could have a very dangerous team. But the Stallions looked much better than their preseason game, despite the fact that it took them so much longer to score.
I agree.
So I'll go to you, Chris, because you got to play the Stallions in the preseason. So you have a very good grasp on what they were in preseason to this week. What do you think about it?
Well, just from looking at their formations, well, and their build is just as similar as I am, as you guys already know, as my team is. I mean, it's gonna be almost the exact same way that well, how I can run my team. So honestly, I'm not trying to sound cocky or anything, but I feel like I got their number, and it's not because of like it's not because of the gold tight ends. Because for me, it's like the gold tight ends like it's crazy because my defense can actually stop them when they're actually in a good mood and when the offense can click. But it's actually because of my offense that I feel like that we can get them because our running back was able to run all over them like crazy. So so but I do expect it to be a good game though. I don't expect it to be the same game as it was in preseason because as I said that about the Stallions is obviously looking up tape on us on how the Arizona Outlaws beat us that badly, and I'm still embarrassed about that game, by the way. And they're gonna take some hits from the Outlaws to get us with that. So I feel like they did change the team as preseason, but I also feel like they just I also feel like that the GOAT tight ends is going to be like the exact same result as it was in preseason. I mean, I feel like they're not going to be able to really get them involved. Other than that, I feel like it's going to be a good game.
Ed, thoughts on that game?
Well, I'll say Tampa did look a little better than the preseason game, no doubt about it. Boston's defense, as we have said, it's legit, and I think the league needs to be really afraid of that defense. Boston definitely has to get their offense clicking. But I will say this because I'm looking at a couple of stats here, because everybody's going nuts over these gold tight ends. Because we all know if they can get these gold tight ends working, it could be scary. But their tight ends had 3 catches for 38 yards, and the other one had 2 catches for 34 yards. So Boston pretty much shut them down. I mean, they didn't throw to them, so still aren't using them the way they need to be using them. So I'm hoping they start figuring it out. Because I honestly believe if they get both those gold tight ends working, holy crap. Because we already know what happens when you get one gold tight end working. If you get 2 of them working, I don't know how a defense can stop both of them. I just don't see it.
Yeah. So, yeah, like you said, they for the most part shut them down. There was only 60, 70 total yards of receiving by both gold tight ends combined. So yeah, you can't have that. Can't have that at all. These guys got to be 100 yards. At least one's got to go over 100 every week.
Right. And Tampa's running back, man, he had 15 catches for 24 yards.
It's craziness.
And then you look at their receivers. They had Friday had 4 catches for 51. and Six Killer had 4 catches for 30. So they're still not. I don't know. I don't know what they're trying to do there in Tampa Bay because if you look at those stats, that's really not. I mean, it was good for what they were trying, but at the same time, it's not that impressive. When you look at it on paper, you're like, man, these guys got to be doing more.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Like I said, I just hope they can get it going.
Well,
but we'll see. But like we said, that was the first game, so everybody has, the entire league has 13 games to go yet to figure out, how to get their teams going the right way, and so the next 13 weeks is going to be nuts.
I'm excited for it. In Tampa Bay, like Davis said, he doesn't see that happening this week when he plays him. He thinks he's gonna pound him into the earth. I think they're clearly going to be the favorites into this game. But so Tampa Bay gets to go into Philly this week. So kind of almost not necessarily a rematch, but we already got to see these two teams on the field, and Philadelphia did their thing in the preseason game, and I just think the Flight's going to do their thing this week. And we'll get into
home opener, by the way. Home opener.
Yes, a home opener. It'll be a big day for Philly. Big time day.
That's always a big deal when you play at home, and you get that home crowd behind you, and you get that's a lot of people say, oh, that doesn't make it. Oh, it makes a difference. When you're playing at home, and you got your fans there, and they're going nuts, and they're behind you, and they're right. That motivates you, And when you go on the road and you got people booing you, and you're like, it can motivate you too. But sometimes motivate pisses you off, and you start doing stupid stuff. So,
right.
I can't wait to see that game again. I want to see what happens this time around.
Well, since we're talking about Tampa Bay and Philadelphia, let's get into the other game that took place at 1:00 on Saturday, and that was the Flight at the Outlaws that ended in a 37-13 victory for the Outlaws. Outlaws Flight game was very close for the longest time. It was like 13-6 at one point with 2 field goals by the Flight. Flight got their touchdown really late in the fourth quarter. I know they were happy to finally get in the end zone, but I know Davis is one of those guys who likes to discuss garbage time. So I know he's very displeased to know that touchdown came in what would be regarded as garbage time. But to the Flight's credit, this is something that's going to be overshadowed by the score. They outpassed the Outlaws, and they outgained the Outlaws. Their offense was clearly moving the football. It's just for some reason they weren't finding the end zone. So it was a good showing by Stevie T. Diggs and the Outlaws who got the victory. I mean, they only had 99 rushing yards and 233 passing yards. They held the Outlaws to 332 yards, but gained 408 yards of their own. So that's pretty impressive. So, Davis, since we're discussing your Flight, I know you got to be happy with the yardage and the way your defense shut them down yardage-wise, but what do you got to do to actually start getting in the end zone?
That's the part that's the part that I was saying that it was embarrassing of. I'm like, you're actually able to go, toe to toe with the Outlaws. The problem is that you can't score, and it's due to like stupid plays such as running the ball on 3rd and 9, which I still don't understand for the life of me. And then when you actually do run the ball, like say on 3rd and 3, which still like they run the ball on 3rd and 3 when the running back was getting like no momentum at all. They only, like, if you guys haven't noticed, they only gave Northrop the ball and like one time like every drive, and then they expect Northrop to get it going. I mean, like, he's the workhorse of the offense. You give him the ball multiple times. I mean, let him go ahead and do his thing. That's part of the reason why he was held under those yardage. I mean, like, he was getting at least like maybe 4 or 5 yards a pop most of the time. So I'm like, what's going on here? Well, I see the stats. I'm seeing Alex Dar passing the ball like 60 times. I'm like, in attempt. I'm like, what in the world? This ain't a air raid Aaron Rodgers offense. What's going on here? this ain't the Dallas offense. Why we passing 60 times a game? But like the defense did as much as they could. It didn't surprise me when I saw that touchdown that they gave up, that deep ball touchdown, because I'm like, the defense can only do so much to contain that offense, especially since they was containing them throughout 3 quarters. They gonna let up at some point.
Right.
So for me, that game was embarrassing. I mean, like, not for the defense, but kind of is for the defense's point of view, because David Cox didn't do anything. But it was more so because of the offense. Like, it was just inexcusable when I saw how many times Alex Dar was passing the ball. And it was more inexcusable due to the fact that I kept seeing the same play like 10 times over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, that gets frustrating. But
so literally, as soon as the game was over, I automatically just started doing playbook adjusting.
right. So Ed, as far as that game goes, I guess you 100% agree with the statement of the Outlaws played a complete bend but don't break defense.
Yeah.
So that's what I looked at when I saw that game. They were bending, they were giving up some spots, giving up some yards, giving up some big plays here and there. But they said, move the ball all you want. By the way, you're not getting in that thing we call the end zone, though.
Right.
And that just,
and
just seemed to be
like Chris was saying, he saw the same play ran over and over again. That's what I'm talking about. We're not controlling this. It's the AI, and the AI likes to do stuff to drive us crazy. I don't know why it does it. Like in that situation, there's going to come up times when, we've seen it, in the other place we were all at, and I'm sure we're going to see it yet here, because I have seen it in some of the sims where you get down there early in the game and they're trying to bark the guy, pull the team off sides, and
right.
you lose a timeout.
Yeah.
I don't understand some of in some of this stuff, because you're going like, why would you do this, why would you do that? But at the same time, you got to tell yourself, you didn't create the game, you didn't make the game. Obviously they thought this was how it was supposed to be, and so it's right. Sometimes you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. It's like,
basically.
And I'll touch on this since Chris mentioned how Alex Dar threw 60 times.
That's crazy.
60 times.
That's Carson Wentz level.
Right. Now, let's understand this. If the flight, and I don't expect Davis to tell us anything about his playbook. It'd be insane if he even hinted at anything. But if the flight don't change their playbook a little bit, and the Stallions don't change their playbook a little bit, Rocket Perez, which is the Stallions quarterback, he threw 55 passes this week. So that's going to be a pass-happy game if those two teams stick with the freaking formula they had this week. So
I'll tell you what. that play you saw multiple times in that Outlaws game, it will not be there. It will not be there.
Well, there was some reason that the AI loved that play. I don't know why, but
when it worked,
I think that was like 90Z arrow, something like that. When I look back on that playbook, I'm like, yeah, that's getting taken off. Effective immediately. That was bad.
That's craziness. But yeah, but like I said, all in all, to the flight's credit, I think they played a very good game. I thought that game was close for the longest time, and then the wheels came off, and they just couldn't find the end zone. So it's almost like the Liberty, who played a very, very strong defensive game and just couldn't get yards. It's just a matter of finding some offense. And let's be honest to this situation, and I know Chris, you'll agree with this. When it comes to this game, you're more a defensive guy anyway, so it's not shocking to me your defense looked better than your offense.
Yeah, I only want the quarterback to really game manage. The offense it involves around the running back. That's why but at the same time, it's not to say that the quarterback doesn't have any weapons. I mean, those tight ends, they have to get going. Even in a wide receivers, they are gonna do their thing too. But you guys did notice in that Arizona game, both wide receivers, they had at least like 10, 11 catches for over 100 yards. They had a pretty good game. But For me, it will be a little bit more better. I mean, I'm not expecting my tight ends to get at least 100 yards or even like 10 catches or anything like that, but I am expecting for them to be at least productive.
Right.
So
So, yeah.
I'm not too mad at the tight ends because they did do their thing when it went to run blocking. They did open up at least 4 or 5 yards of carry for Norfolk, but at the same time, when it goes to a receiving aspect, they need to get the ball more. And that's what I plan on doing. Hopefully,
Right. All right. Well, then let's get to the final game of the week, and that took place on Saturday at 4 o'clock when Tokyo visited New York. Wow. And wow again is all I can say about this game. The Cobras come out on top 33-31, hitting a field goal as the clock expires. Down 31-30, hit a big bomb down the field and kicked the field goal. When that ball went off the kicker's foot, there was 2 seconds on the clock to get the victory in a game that went back and forth and back and forth. And I said it during the game. I don't know if anybody caught it in the chat, but the Bulls went up 17-0 over the Pack. The Liberty went up 17-0 over the Stallions. Both teams came out on top. So when the Kitsune went up 17-0 on the Cobras, I made a mention right away. I said, can they be the third team this week to go up 17-0 and come out with a victory? Or can the Cobras snap that streak? With 2 seconds to go, they hit that field goal and snapped the streak. And this was another very explosive game as far as offense. The two teams had combined for over 900 yards. I think it was 949 yards. Cobras had 412 passing to 335 on the Kitsune. It was 111 rushing yards for Kitsune, and the Cobras had 91. So when you have 503 yards of offense and you give up 446 yards of offense but get the victory, I'm sure the Cobras were happy. But I know Mark Chisholm's in the listening to the podcast right now. I know he's not happy with giving up 446 total yards, and I know he's going to get that corrected. And by the way, playbooks are due today, gentlemen. So, all in all, this game, like I said, the way we started the week with the Bulls in the Pack and then ended it with this game, it was an amazing bookend of games. And hats off to both these teams. But I got to give Kitsune credit in the defeat. I really think holding the Cobras to just 33 points and making them play from behind all game was impressive, is all impressive, considering a lot of people thought this might be the most explosive offense we've got in the league.
man, I don't know who they announced. I forgot who they announced as player of the game for the Cobras and Kitsune. All I do know is this: David Lee really deserves to be player of the game. He had the quarterback's number in that game. I think he had 3-4 interceptions all by himself, and I think that was all like in the first half.
Well, defensive player should have been the player of the game, regardless, because Willie Blackheart and Danger Moon, the defensive linemen for the Cobras, each had 4 sacks apiece. That's ridiculous. I mean, we here do star linemen work. Well, the Cobras showed us that apparently that they can. Got 8 sacks out of the 2 that they have.
No, that was impressive.
And
That was
Danger Moon,
impressive.
didn't Danger Moon have 3 of them in like the first 5 minutes of the game?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he did.
Yes, he did.
That's the crazy part about that. I'm like, how the hell did he get that many sacks? What
Okay.
kind of stunts?
I have to ask this question because I can.
Because I can't.
Because I can, because I want to pick on King Cannon a little bit because he's an awesome guy and he'll fire stuff back when he can. He threw 8 interceptions in the preseason.
Yes.
Yes.
He threw another 4 or 5 in this game.
Yes.
Yes. Most of it went to David Lee, by the way.
Do we now keep an eye on him? Do they have to keep an eye on him and make sure he doesn't, go on a drinking binge or go on something because he's losing his mind because he just can't figure out how to throw a ball?
That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, it's crazy how I said this on Talk Shoe, on one of the Talk Shoe podcasts before we went to this whole hangout thing. I said this. I said King Cannon better lead the league in passing. He better, because if he doesn't lead the league in passing, it's gonna be a shame. It really is.
Well, right
In
now he does.
passing yards, I mean, like you got those three wide receivers. There's no excuse for you to be throwing these interceptions. You need to get that corrected.
He does not lead the league in passing after week 1. I know that.
Yep. Who does?
Ritter for the Pack.
Mm.
That's my boy.
Mm.
He's got him beat by 28 yards right now. So
Okay,
yeah.
okay. I expect that to close up real quick, but still, at the same time, that's kind of disappointing because if they do not fix those interceptions, it will be a wrap for the Cobras. They got away with murder
Well, here's what it will say
against
for
the
King
Kissimmee.
Cannon. Will he get the yardage? Let's be honest here. Uh, Dwayne threw for 450 yards against the Bulls, and that's who King Cannon gets to play this week. So can he put up the same amount of passing yards? So it's gonna.
That's a
If
good
he can
question.
cut down on the interceptions, you would think, yeah, you would think he should be able to do it.
It's gonna
But
be entertaining. So
but I know during that game he was freaking out because I remember him posting, "Oh, you got to be kidding me! You can't. I can't believe." Oh, so yeah.
I had to laugh at.
All I can
Taco.
say is.
Oh, you can say what?
Yeah, I'll say this real quick and then I'll let you. I said all I gotta say is this week, practice, and more practice.
Right.
Practice.
Yeah.
We talking about practice?
That's right, Allen Iverson. We're talking about practice.
And what's Allen Iverson's initials?
AI.
Yeah,
And the AI
That's
drives
hilarious.
us crazy. But
he's got to figure out some way that that's what that's what I tell people. You're gonna have all this stuff, and there's really nothing. There's no way to really do anything about it unless you find the plays that work. But even that, I mean, it's frustrating because you're not the guy pushing the buttons and making So you have to sit there and go, "Oh God, oh God, yeah." And it's like, So I feel you. I feel the pain that he's going through because everybody's felt it. Your guy gets out there and just goes. But like I said, you got to keep telling yourself you're not the guy that's pushing the buttons. You're not making those mistakes. It's the computer doing that stuff. So you got to take it with a grain of salt, and hopefully, you can figure out what plays work better and what don't work better. It's a chess game. That's what makes it fun.
and I had to laugh at Taco, his baby brother, owner of New York, pouring out his best impersonation of Coach Yost from Remember the Titans. Kept saying offense on me as opposed to defense on me. And he kept telling him, "We're gonna get it. We're gonna do it. We're gonna this." And every time he posted that late in the game, I'm sitting there thinking, "Dude, you're crazy. You ain't coming back in this damn thing. It's just sitting out of hand." And little by little, step by step, I'm like, "Okay, they're closing in." And then when they gave up that touchdown late, I'm like, "There it is." And then when that big bomb just hit down the middle of the field, I sat here and I went, "Yo!" real loud. I scared the shit out the wife who was sitting on the couch. She jumped and said, "What the hell are you yelling about?" I said, "No, this is the game." She goes, "Damn, it's just a video game." I said, "But yeah!" And I yelled again. Because I actually hadn't watched that game until we were all watching it together. Because I didn't have time to get to that one. Because I got to jump on some of the games to work on some stats and stuff. But I didn't know any of this game until I watched it everybody else. So I mean, it would just have me on the edge of my seat, and I was enjoying it. But that was crazy. So week 1 was fun. So I know we got some things as far as family matters that Ed and I will be addressing here within the next probably half hour. So I want to try and rapid fire week 2. We'll get into that now. If you go to Slack now, ladies and gentlemen, if you go into Slack now and you go to the Game of the Week channel, you will see based on the votes, we have it locked in the Game of the Week. And I'm assuming Mr. Cody Sexy Prime will be ready to go for week 2 because he's going to be doing the commentary for the games of the week. So he will have the honor of calling the Boston Liberty at Arizona Outlaw game this Friday at 8. Are we going with 8 o'clock this week? Or is it going to be 8:30?
I think it's gonna be same time, 8:30, maybe like maybe 8:30. It's up to him.
So 8:30 on Friday, Boston Liberty at the Arizona Outlaws will be thrown up live with commentary with Mr. Cody Prime. And then on Saturday, At 1 o'clock, you will see the Tampa Bay Stallions at the Philadelphia Flight and the Tokyo Kitsune at the Carolina Pack. And then the 4 o'clock game on Saturday will be the New York Cobras at the Baltimore Bulls.
Now, to be honest, I thought that game was going to be the primetime game.
Yeah, I do
Just
too.
look
And
at the voting. I'm very surprised there's the Liberty versus the Outlaws.
yeah,
Actually,
I had a gut feeling that it might even have been the Kitsune and the Pack game, just because Allen's history with Ramos, because he just has he has a history with him, just like he does TJ.
yeah.
And I think the reason, and I'm going to say this, and this is what I like about our voters and our guys in this league, I think some guys didn't vote for Baltimore or what you call it. Who am I thinking about? Or Carolina. Those were the two I was thinking of. I don't think they voted for either of them, just for the simple fact that they already had the game of the week last week. While I appreciate that, and I thought that was pretty cool, which I clearly think some guys did, I don't care if the same team gets to have the game of the week 50 weeks in a row if they deserve it. So don't be afraid to vote for a team. If anybody did do this, I don't know for sure, but don't be afraid to vote for the same team week after week if you feel their game's going to be the best one. It's cool. But it ended up 16-12 in votes. So the Cobras in the Baltimore game get the lone game. They'll be the 4 o'clock game. So I just want to go rapid fire through these games. So I'm going to go to you first, Chris, and we'll go into the 1 o'clock games on Saturday first. Tokyo and Carolina, if you can give me some quick hitters and even a prediction if you wish. And then Ed, you can follow them up.
Oh man, I'm really gonna expect that to be a good game. That's if for the Kitsune that it doesn't come down to a blown coverage in the end and end up becoming a field goal again. I'm that Kitsune defense. They did a really good job shutting down a high-powered offense. If they can do that again, just keep doing what they're doing. I mean, there's only just one bad play, and after that, it's a wrap. Really, what they have going on, it can be a really, really good team. And it's the exact same thing for the Pack. Only thing is that they have to, the same thing for the Pack in this case. I mean, they have to really they got it going on offense, but there's only so few mistakes there that really cost them. And their defense, they really have to work on that too, because getting dropped 55 on is not the best way for you to get a victory. So really, I can really see this becoming a good game because of the adjustments that came in after week 1. So that's what I can see happening.
Ed?
I agree with everything he just said.
Yeah. I had to touch
I've got to.
Said that.
Go ahead.
I had to touch on the fact that he said that Kitsune shut down a high-powered offense. While they only put up 33 points, as in the Cobras did have 503 yards. So I'm not sure if that's shutting them down too much. And to the Pack's credit, the Pack had 546 yards, which showed that at least in week 1 they looked a little more explosive.
Well, that I apologize for. In terms of yardage, yeah, but at the same time, they couldn't really, they didn't really have them put points up on the board until the fourth quarter. So they really made sure that they didn't get in the end zone until that fourth quarter.
Yeah, if we're talking points, they only had the 4th highest scoring output of the week.
Whoa, who?
The Cobras. Yeah.
Oh.
So yeah, they were outscored by the Bulls, the Pack, and the Outlaws in week 1. So with them being quote unquote hyped as to being the high powered, they should be 1 or 2 in scoring.
That's right.
So,
that's all.
But yeah, I'll just say this about this game. If you look at the pick'em right now, I actually was shocked when I saw this. Tokyo's got the lead 14-8 in the pick'em. I'm not shocked Tokyo's the favorite, but the difference of 14-8 kind of caught me off guard. So, for me, I look at it this way. To me, this game's going to take at least 30 or more points to win. That's the way I look at it. I can see both these teams putting up 30 plus.
Yeah, I can see Tokyo being in the everybody voting for them because Chris hit it on the head. We gave up 55 points.
Right.
But guess what? I went back and I checked out everything. Mm-hmm. We ain't giving up 55 points this week.
That's going out
I
on
know.
a
I
limb.
know where. I know where the mistakes happened. I know what I had to get rid of, and believe me, I get rid of it. So we'll see. That's all you can do. You got to just watch each week and see if you can figure out what the hell hurt you, what worked really good, what didn't work really good. Get rid of the crap and keep the good stuff, and hopefully the computer, do what it's supposed to do.
Right.
If it don't, oh well, I'll just go back and figure it out again.
And I want to say this real quick before we get into the next game. Carolina packs the home team. Why do I say that? Does anyone take notice?
Well, home field advantage.
No, I mean it's home field advantage, sure. But if you take a look back at week 1, all 4 home teams last week won.
Wait, what?
All the home teams won their games last week.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
So does that help out Carolina in this game? I guess it remains to be seen. But we'll get into the other 1:00 game. What's that? Go ahead.
Tokyo's at Carolina,
Yes.
and they were just at New York.
Yes.
Wow. So I wonder if they just went right from New York and just said screw it and went ahead and went to Carolina and not go back home, because that'd be nuts to go and then come right back. I was just thinking about that. Just think about that. Traveling like that would be insane.
I'm sure they're going to be in the States for the first 3 weeks because, it's getting ahead of ourselves, but Tokyo's on the road again in week 3 at Tampa Bay. They finally opened up at home in week 4 against Boston. So I'd be staying in the States. I'd go from New York to Carolina and then down to Tampa Bay. So it's just heading south.
Wow.
Which they're
that's got to them.
Gotta suck.
But at the same time, like I said, once that first home game, you get out, that should be, wow.
Right. All right. Getting to the other 1:00 game that'll take place, it'll be the Tampa Bay Stallions at the Philadelphia Flight. And I'll just throw this out right now. If you go look at the pick'em, and I have to be honest, this is even a bigger shocker than the gap with the the Tokyo Carolina game. Tampa Bay is currently favored to win 13-12 in the pick'em.
I wonder why. I wonder why.
I'm sure you're going to share with us why here in a second. But I'm going to go to Ed first on this one. Tampa Bay, Philadelphia. Your thoughts on this one, because it's clearly going to be a tight end fest, and to me it's going to be a matter of which tight ends get clicking.
I think, like I said, I think it's going to be a tight end fest, but I'm going to give the edge to Mr. Davis there in the Flight, because I think he's going to figure out those silvers before Tampa Bay figures out them golds. And I think if he can get, like I said, they already do their job blocking. And once they start catching, yeah. Because we still haven't seen everything that Tampa Bay can do. Because I think it's still a filling out process for them. Right. 2 goal tight ends, first time owner, first time trying to figure out everything. So, yeah. So, like I said, I'm going to give the edge to Philly.
And I know as far as this game goes, Davis is pretty much giving us his what on this, since it's his team. But I will let you touch on the statement you were just making. You wonder why. Where were you going with that, Chris?
For why did I win with that? Well, because really, what I feel like is going to cost Tampa Bay really in the long run is they have 2 goal tight ends. I mean, like, I'm going to be honest, that other goal position, at the very least, that other goal spot, that could have been used for something else. I mean, when I looked at their build for this, I said, I really hope that Jax Diamond knows what he's doing, because he really has nobody on defense that has that kind of leadership presence that that a goal defender would have. I mean, at any position, no matter if it's a goal safety, no matter if it's a goal cornerback, linebacker, or even defensive tackle or defensive end, you have at least someone there that can either motivate the defense or just take over a game.
Right.
I mean, like let's be honest. Did anybody coming into this, you two included, did anybody come to this and basically said when you saw those two tight end bills, I said I'm not scared of your defense. That's just me, just putting it as brutally honest as is possible.
Right.
I mean,
I didn't say that, but I did say, you know, I think, like you said, I think they could have went somewhere else. Why
they
the
could have.
two? I think they could have went, but at the same time, we all know it. If they figure it out, then that start a new trend. Everybody's going to say, "Oh God, we got to have two gold tight ends."
Oh yeah,
Start
I
something
mean,
new.
oh yeah, for certain, it's definitely gonna start a trend. But if they don't get it figured out, then what's it gonna be at the end of the day?
That's
You
right.
know what I mean?
I
It's gonna
totally
be
agree with
basically like you just going fishing, like what Doug said not too long ago. So that's why I'm like, I can see why in the power rankings, um, you guys had Tampa Bay last, and that was just before, and that was just after the preseason games, because it's like, yo, if you're not getting your tight ends involved, you're taking L's.
And speaking of the power rankings, I'll be getting into those after we discuss these
you.
4 games.
I mean,
And I'll touch
I'm
on
not
like
trying to
what Doug
sound
said.
Jack's Diamond, but really, like, I really feel like that two tight end look. I mean, like, if it can work, that's great. But if it's not gonna work, it's basically a wrap. I mean, you're literally
You
living
wasted.
and dying by
Yeah.
tight ends.
Right, and like Doug said, with a goal tight end, at least one of them should be getting it at least 100 yards every game.
Exactly.
It should be, and they're not. I mean, you look at it, and let's see, their tight ends had 3 receptions and 2 receptions. I mean, they're gold tight ends. I mean, you gotta. How did you only throw it to 3 times, 2 times? These are gold. Yeah. I mean, you almost have to. Your offense has to be run through the tight ends, just because you put that money on them as gold. Because if you're just using them as blockers or this and that, that's a waste. I honestly believe it's just a waste.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess we'll refer to the tight end whisperer, that's on here with us, and see what his expertise says. But I'm sure he's going to say the same thing. It's just a waste.
Well, I'll say this about the tight ends. I am a fan of a gold tight end. I know if I had a team, I'd probably have a gold tight end. That's one of my regrets when I had the Sharks. I didn't make the gold tight end. And I'll say this. He going with 2, it caught me off guard. But he's got to focus on one or the other, is my opinion. By watching the game, you can see that he's focusing on both tight ends. I would just focus on one and then let the other one fall into place where it will. Because just by running some double tight end sets and that second gold tight end's running a route, he's going to get the focus regardless if he's the hot route because he's a gold. The AI is going to force to cover him. So you ain't got to try and feed both of them. And he's a new owner. He's never done this before. He was the 8th owner picked. He beat out somebody else for this just by a slight margin. I know he's going to have a lot of bumps in the road and things like that. And I think the whole gold tight end set idea by him was just a guess. And I think he did it just for the shits and giggles of it, just to see what he could or couldn't do. He's trying to learn, which is kind of cool. But that all being said, as far as it goes for him, he's got a lot to work with. I think the defense played well in week 1. The offense, is a little shaky. I think he needs to get Friday and 6 Killer more involved. He's focusing way too much just on the tight ends as well. I know when I had the goal tight end, I put the offense around him, but I made sure I had a lot of opportunities where the receivers were going to catch the ball, and the stats showed that. So at the end of the day, I think he's going to figure it out. He's just got to hope it don't take him too long. uh, but we'll get off of this game because we can talk about these tight end things from both teams a lot. So we'll get into the game that takes place at 4:00 on Saturday. Right now, if you take a look at the pick'em, this is a dead heat. It's 12-12, and that's the Cobras at the Bulls. These are two teams that put up over 500 yards of offense, 524 for the Bulls, 503 for the Cobras. Both went up against teams that most people thought were going to have solid defenses, so that's even extra kudos to those offenses. Both teams threw the ball, especially very, very well. Both running games were pretty solid. The Bulls was a little stronger with 166-91, but the Cobras live and die by the pass. To me, could the Bulls be in another shootout with the Cobras?
It could be.
Oh, I think it will be.
How many points will it take to win this one?
I'll say it'll be by a touchdown. I can see it being 27-21, maybe. That's just my guess. Be something higher than that, but as long as it's like a touchdown game, I can really see it being very close.
Yeah, this game is going to be crazy. See, this was the one game I thought could be game of the week.
Yeah, I'm going to say they're going to have to score over 40. I just, good Lord. I think it's going to be that kind of shootout again. I think and it's going to come down to who doesn't make the biggest mistake. I think that's what's going to determine that game.
That very well could be. That very well be the case. Anyone else have any comments on this?
No.
Nope, that's it.
No.
He's just like, nope.
Oh, hell. No. But yeah, TJ, Taco, they're going to clearly have to bring it. It's going to be fun to see Chisholm and Max Paul's defenses out here in the same game. So a lot of like high quality coaches in this game. So I think we're going to be in for a good one, and it's going to be a joy to watch. And luckily for this game, it's the only game that's going to run at 4:00. So the focal point will be on this game. So we'll get into the last game, which is the game of the week per the voting. If you look at the pick'em, the way it stands right now, the Outlaws have 16. The Boston Liberty has 8. So the Outlaws gave up 408 yards this past week, and they're going up against a Liberty team that only had 180 yards. Does this mean the Liberty can get more offense possibly against this team, or the Outlaws going to, for all intents and purposes, do what they did in week 1? That's just dominate from start to finish. So I'll go to you, Ed, with this one first. Boston Liberty at the Outlaws. Your thoughts?
I don't think Arizona's going to do what they did in week 1, because, like we said, we're going to keep saying it until somebody proves it wrong. Boston's defense is sick. It's just sick. And I saw during that game, somebody made a comment. I think they're right. I think Boston is, and as much as I hate to say it, because I'm not can't stand the team that they compared them to, but I think they're right. I think they're the Baltimore Ravens. I think their defense is going to keep them in every game, and their offense is just going to have to do enough just to win, and plain and simple.
I agree with with Ed. I got enough to piggyback on with that one. mean,
So
can't have it go any better than that. I mean, that defense they played pretty damn well in their first week, and I expect that to continue. I mean, defense is too damn crazy. How the hell do you stop them?
like I said,
I'm pretty sure everybody gonna find
even
a way.
even though it was a preseason game, you still have to look at that. They had 8 interceptions in the preseason. Then they turn around and get 4 more. That's crazy.
You gotta stop going to that secondary.
What I'm trying to figure out, because Bo Davis is a first-year owner, and what did he figure out on that defense that a lot of people haven't figured out? I'm like, holy crap!
Could it be that he went with 2 gold corners? Could that be the ticket?
That could have been it. I mean, like,
Could have been. I don't know.
like you have 2 gold corners. Those guys are gonna lock down those wide receivers, no matter what tier it is. At the very least, I mean,
Right, and it's already been proven, and it's been said that even if you have a gold wide receiver, if the defense has a gold corner, the computer freaks out.
I mean,
it's been proven.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think that they can. I think that with Bo Davis, he can run man to man with those gold corners and just get away with it. That's the crazy part about it. I think the only way that you're gonna have to beat Boston is the best chance is that you're gonna have to run on them and not turn the ball over. That's it. Because if you turn the ball over against Boston, you're gonna lose. You're going to lose, no question.
And I asked this question too. Could be the reason why Boston's able to do what they do is because they spent their first 6,412 star players on defense.
Hey, it could be. We talked about it. They went heavy defense. He did. He went. He had it in mind. Defense, and that's what he went.
Yeah, I mean, like, look at their build. I mean, gold corners. Their whole entire defense is top to bottom, gold to silver. Their copper is a free safety. Their another copper is Jonas Barson, who's defensive tackle. I can imagine that at least one of those guys, and I'm talking specifically about the defense, about the D line. One of those guys has built the run stop. One of them. And I could see that being Jonas Barson. If anything, he could be the kind of guy that could just clog up the middle, and Abraham would just come in and just pass rush. And he has the dude, and he can do it. He can do it. I mean, really, you guys said earlier talking about Alex Dar could be game managing. That whole offense over there at Boston is basically a game manager.
Exactly. I mean, we all thought he was nuts.
Yeah, I mean, Bronson Copper it's crazy.
Yeah, well, because when we all first started talking about, and he basically come out and said, "This is what I'm doing. I'm going defense, and I'm going all bronze on my off." Everybody's like, "That,
smoke screen."
And it was a smoke screen, and he did exactly what he said he was going to do. And I mean, there's no other way to describe it except for I forget who it was that said he's Baltimore, and he is. I mean, he's got that defense. All his offense has to do is not screw it up. And honestly, if he proves that this works, is that going to start another trend where everybody's going to go, I'm going all defense, and I'm like, I mean, there's so many trends that could be started out of what we're doing here in the IFL. It's ridiculous.
That is most definitely going to start another trend, no question. I mean, the only team that's closest to their build right now that I can think of, and when I'm looking at this, I would also say Baltimore because they have 2 silver cornerbacks, and there's also the Cobras too. I forgot about them.
I believe the Outlaws have 2 silver corners, I think, but I'd have to double check it.
Yes, they do. They have 2 silver corners. I mean, it's really those 3 teams that are closest to Boston in terms of their build. I mean, like when it goes to the cornerbacks, that'd be it. I mean,
yeah, because
God.
Over in the other play, everybody over there believed it was all about the quarterbacks. You come over here, and now guys are trying to say, no, it's not. It's about the defense. Or other guys say, no, it's not. It's about goal tight ends. So I freaking love this.
If you want to know
No
what the
idea.
two quarterbacks remind me of, they remind me of how Ramos did it when he was over there at the SFL. He rocked 2 gold safeties, and those safeties put in work that season. It wouldn't surprise me if this ends up being exactly the same case with Boston, with those 2 gold corners just absolutely shutting down those sides of the field and making the quarterback just hold on to the ball, causing coverage sacks.
Well, I'll say this, since we're talking about that. Do you guys remember by looking at the stats who led Arizona in receiving?
Uh, that's a good question.
Not off the top of my head, and I don't have the stats wrote down. So
I'm gonna take a guess and say that it's Ricky Balboa.
No.
It's Doug Bowles.
No. It was actually Hootie Koo, which is the tight end.
Who?
and that's a bronze. That's a bronze tight end.
Right, that's the bronze tight end. He didn't lead with Bobby Treefeather, Ricky Balboa, which is the silver receivers, Tyrone Goodspeed, which is the third wide receiver at gold. No, it was the bronze tight end who's rocking 4 abilities that led that team. So my thing is, if we think these corners are going to shut down the sideline, it don't matter if Arizona sticks with the offense they ran last week because they were and we were talking about defensive backs and stuff like that. What I love about this matchup is you got the 2 gold corners and we got the only gold safety in Tank Tatum with the Outlaws. Right. So I just love the secondary here. And their free safety, Jimmy Cash, is a silver. He had 3 interceptions last week.
Now looking back at it, this game earned Game of the Week. I mean, it was kind of a close one with New York and Baltimore, but oh man, this is going to be interesting to see how it's all going to go.
Safety versus corner matchup here. I like it. It's going to be a matter of which offense can avoid the defense the best.
Yep. Who going to throw the most interceptions? Who going to throw the most nearest interceptions and not the dropped interceptions?
Let's over under it now because I'm trying to remember exactly how many interceptions Thomas Servo threw. I can't remember right off the top of my head.
It was not good.
It was 3 or 4 to be honest.
Damn. Who leads the league in interceptions right now?
He had 3.
So yeah, I'm trying to work on all the stats to get that updated as fast as I can. Hopefully I could get to it today. If not, it might not be till tomorrow. But there you go. 3 interceptions. I know Mario Savage threw an interception or 2. So I'm saying right now the over under for this game combined interceptions 5. What are you gonna say? Over or under?
Under.
So the 2 teams are going to combine for less than 5 interceptions?
Oh no! I'm sorry.
It's over. I'm going to go over.
I expect like 3 apiece.
Oh, hell. But, all right, yeah, we can spend all day talking about this one. So I'm going to get to what I probably should have got to before we got into the games, and that's the power rankings. I have a request from Alan Drum, who sent me his power rankings and asked that I announce his individually on the air because he not only gave me his power rankings, but he gave me his reasoning. So I will just mention his first before I get to the overall tally and the votes, and I'll go in reverse order. At number 8, he has Tampa Bay, and he says, needs a lot of improvements, playing a good quarter against a decent defense in an area is an area to look to build upon. So he basically says they're in trouble. 1 good quarter isn't enough. They got to build, but they need to build off that 1 good quarter. Number 7, he has Philadelphia. He said to their credit, they lost to what he feels is the best team in the league. The run game is a strong building block to improve upon. So he feels they're going to live and die through the running back. Number 6, and this I found shocking. Number 6, he has Boston, who came off a win. He said they barely beat the worst team by 6. He said, can you award a team higher when Carolina and Tokyo's offense looked way better? The answer would be no.
He has a point.
So number 5, he says Carolina. Offense looked unstoppable. Its defense, if its defense gets on track, this team could be able to win a lot of their games. Number 4, Tokyo. 2 costly turnovers hurt this team. If not for the turnovers, he feels Tokyo would be 1-0. Number 3, he has New York. It says the defense looked very shaky, but beat a good Kitsune team, not buying them as a great team just yet. Number 2, Baltimore. Offense looked outstanding, but can't afford to give can't afford a team to give up 541 yards. Would have lost to Arizona if it weren't for the injuries in the preseason. Number 1, Arizona showed they are a great all-around team. It's his early favorite to win the title. So those were his. Now, those were Allen's predictions. Now I have the overalls. Again, I'm not getting enough votes on this. In fact, we only have 8 owners, and like I said, it's kind of depressing. I would think all 8 owners would submit their power rankings, and I think I only got 4 owners to do it this week. So owners, get your shit together. All right.
Before you get into that, I'm gonna tell you I'm jumping off here. So I'm really not feeling very good, and then Dwayne will be coming off on the bus here soon, so I'm gonna have to jump.
Yeah, that's why I'm rapid fire through all this. Well, Ed will miss the breaking news that I'm going to announce, but he already knows what it is.
So, all right.
So the official power rankings based on the voting.
Here we go.
You trying to figure out how to hang up. All right, the official power rankings based on the overall votes that came in are as follows. Number 8 is Tampa Bay. Number 7, the Boston Liberty, despite the victory over Boston, is at 7. Number 6 is the Philadelphia Flight. Number 5 is the Carolina Pack. Number 4 is the Tokyo Kitsune. Number 3, with 2 first-place votes, is the Arizona Outlaws. Number 2, with 4 first-place votes, is the Baltimore Bulls. And number 1, with 7 first-place votes, is the New York Cobras.
I'll be honest, I call BS on that. Cobras barely beat the Kitsune.
Well, if you look at the rankings, Tokyo is ranked 4th, and that's who New York beat. Baltimore is 2nd, and they beat the 5th-ranked team. And Arizona is 3rd, and Arizona beat the 6th-ranked team. So all 3 of the teams in that order, the team they defeated is actually in the exact same order. So at least it came out that way. It's not like one team beat the higher-ranked team. So, I mean, that's the power rankings. But I'm going to get into this breaking news that I need to announce on here because this is what we need to announce because to me this is important. I had been talking with Ed and Kyle very much over the last little bit over the fact of I want to make the IFL championship game special. I want to make it fun. I want to make it important. I want to make it nice, etc., etc. You guys can read into what I'm trying to say and fill in all the blanks. So that being stated, I also got asked if we were going to have a quote-unquote All-Star / Pro Bowl game for this league. Don't know if we're going to do that just not yet or not. I'm not exactly sure. I would definitely like to. That I won't deny. I'm sure everybody would like to. It's just going to be a matter of we have the ability and the time to put it together. Because what I would have to do is create 2 separate teams, put them together, and set it up as such. And if it's something guys really, 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 really want, I'm probably willing to do it. I'm going to just set up a separate editor file, if you will, and we'll have to figure out how the voting would work, who's going to be on what teams, this, that, and the other. Just things we can talk about, and then Chris, I'll talk to you about that, privately. I'm going to run by that with some Ed privately and some Kyle talks privately, figure out what we want to do, because honestly, we'd have to break the league down into 4 and 4 if we really wanted to do it, unless it's just going to be if you're the number 1 running back, you get put on this side, and if you're the number 1 quarterback, you're on that side, and then 2 would go here, and whatever the case may be. To me, that just sounds a little stupid. we'd have to separate the league. And just real quick, if we separate the league based on location, New York, Boston, Baltimore, and Philadelphia geographically are the four closest teams to each other. That would be one side. That would put Tokyo, Tampa Bay, Carolina, and Arizona on the other side.
Which makes sense.
And to me, that would be the fairest way to separate the 8 teams if we wanted to do it. So, when the voting comes down, whoever's the top quarterback from those 4 teams in those 2 categories, that'd be the quarterback. And then the second place, I'd make him the backup. And I think we can get into the settings and make them get tired very quickly so they rotate players in often.
Yeah, we can do that.
And that would be something we can do just for shits and giggles and fun if we want to do it. I'm not going to call it AFC versus NFC like they do there. We'd probably just call it red versus gold. And I would just probably create a uniform that's all red and another uniform that's all gold to fit the league colors. And then there we go. And we'll run with it from there if we decide to do it. So if you listen to the show, message me on Slack your feedback on the Pro Bowl idea. If you haven't already, tell me if you want it. And if we get an overwhelming excitement for it, I'm going to see if we can put together the time to run it. And that game probably wouldn't take place for maybe 2-3 weeks after the championship game, just for the simple fact you got to put the file together. So that leads me to the championship game discussion. I want to do in the IFL what I feel the NFL should do. I feel strongly that if the NFL is going to take the Pro Bowl and bounce it around, which is cool so everybody gets to experience it, I've always felt the team that loses the Super Bowl should host the Pro Bowl. So if we do our own Pro Bowl game, we're going to do that. The team that loses the championship game will be hosting the Pro Bowl. End of discussion. I also feel that the NFL needs to stop doing the bidding bullshit and make it fair, make winning the championship worth something. If you win the championship, you host it the next season. Therefore, that's what we're going to do in the IFL. So we have 8 teams. Whichever one of these 8 teams wins the championship this season, they will be hosting the championship game next year in their stadium. So those of you who are unaware of how the APF 2K8 game works, you can actually select your game site. So that's all we're going to do. Select the game site, and that's that. The fun part's going to be, I know it can be done. I don't know how it's done. I have to look into it. But somebody told me you can actually, like in all pro football, when you play the game and you actually go into season mode, when you get into the championship game, the graphics and stuff are off the field, no team logos in the center. Chris, I'll ask you about this later. I'm not sure if you know how to set that up, like to do that or whatever. If you do, we'll figure that out. If not, the team that has the best record going into the championship game will just be considered the home team regardless, and their graphics would just be on the field, so that would be the negative of it, but who cares? It's still going to be on an alternate site. So just for sake of argument, if Baltimore Bulls win the championship this year, our championship game next year will be held in their stadium. So now I know the question to everybody right now is, okay, well, who hosts it this season? I've already have a decision on that, and that's part of what I'm about to announce now. I looked over the situation. I said, okay, do I take an alternate field that nobody's using? That could be a good idea. Let me take an alternate field that nobody's using in the league. But at the same time, I don't want to take away from what we have built. So I eliminated that idea real quick. And one of the 8 teams that are in the league right now will be hosting the championship game. And as far as the championship game goes, I've had the discussions with some people. We've discussed it and we've talked about it. The IFL championship game will be known as the Victory Bowl. That's the name we're going to use.
Solid.
It's a basic, yet corny, yet perfect fitting word. It's the Victory Bowl. That's what you want. You want to win the championship. You need to get the victory in the biggest bowl of the year. So it is the Victory Bowl. I'm going to be posting a logo shortly on Slack. There's 3 different designs. I want everybody to vote on which one of the designs they like best, and we're going to use that as the official Victory Bowl logo for season 1. And I'll get all the information added to the logo. So that leads me to the 8 teams. I said, okay, should I take the game to Tokyo? Should I take the game to Tampa Bay? Should it be in Philadelphia, New York, Boston, Carolina, Arizona, or Baltimore? So to me, when I thought about it, I said, "There's only real one true answer to this." And guys might agree with this, you might not. But when you look at the league and how this league is run and how we do things, we got Kyle Walsh, who's kind of like the figurehead, who's highly involved in this league. Mostly behind the scenes. You don't see him around too much. He does a lot of behind the scenes work with me. So, basically hold my hand if you will help me out. He lives down in Orlando. So I said, okay, maybe Tampa Bay. Ed's kind of in the same role. We don't have a team in Ohio. So it's like, okay, can't do that. But the two biggest figureheads in this league that do, most of the work thus far is myself and Mr. Davis. The both of us are in Pennsylvania, and Chris owns the Philadelphia flight. So the Victory Bowl 1 will be held in Philadelphia.
Damn. That came up with a quick decision.
Yeah. And you knew nothing of this. I just thought, if I'm in PA and I'm doing this work and you're in PA and you're doing this work, we need to have the stadium closest to us. And you just happen to be an owner. And I don't think anybody's going to disagree or argue with the reasoning. To me, your team earned the right because of the time and effort you put in. You're running the games for us. Without you, we don't have the league. So this is the least thing that the league can do as an appreciation is to allow the Philadelphia flight to host Victory Bowl 1.
That's not even factoring in the fact that Philadelphia is a very historic city. I mean, there's a lot of shit that gone down in Philadelphia that shaped up, America as it is now. So that's pretty crazy. So
And I'm going to
damn, I
send
feel
you
honored.
the logos that I made here. And privately, you can look at them. Those are the three options. The VB obviously represents a Victory Bowl, and then obviously the number above it is 1, as in Victory Bowl 1. So
These all look nice, but like you said, I'd rather leave it up to a voting, see what everybody else thinks.
I just wanted to give you the first sneak peek. We actually have a championship trophy made. That's ready to go. That's been taken care of. We worked on that, and I'll send you that as well here privately so you can get a look at it.
All right.
But the championship trophy will be known as the Victory Cup. Why not? Instead of the trophy, we'll go with cup.
Wow. Oh man.
Why not?
They
And
should have their name at the bottom too for whoever wins it.
yeah, there's possibilities. I'll send you the original graphic just for the fun of it. And I might even actually post both graphics so guys can look at both just to say, hey, you know what? Maybe I like the original better. Because on this one, it shows all 4 sides of the trophy, and then it's on a base, and then you can see the white lines, which would represent like championship plates. I would write the name of the champion in each plate.
Oh, nice.
And it would just kind of wrap around the trophy. That would have been the whole concept, so to speak.
That's pretty cool.
And it would say like season 1 champion, season 2 champion, whoever it would be. But that's nothing. That's just kind of like a drawing, where the other one actually looks like a legit trophy. But Victory Bowl 1 will be held in Philadelphia by the flight. And that game will kick off. Hopefully we can make this happen, Chris, because I want to do it this way. That game will kick off at 6:30 Sunday. I want to do a Sunday kickoff. I want to give us that Super Bowl feel. Super Bowl takes place on Sunday at 6:30. I'd like to do the same thing on September the 3rd.
That's gonna have to be up to Cody Klein. Like, obviously for the championship game, you want him to commentate that.
Right.
That's up to him if he's gonna have to take a Friday off and just commentate on Sunday.
Right. That's what I say. If he can do it, that's the goal. If he can't,
and on that time too.
Yeah, and if he can't, then we're just going to go with the typical Friday at 8:30 game. And that's something. And what sucks is it's probably too far out for him to give us an honest answer just yet. So that's the goal, is Sunday at 6:30 on September the 3rd. If not, because of his schedule, it'll be an 8:30 kick on Friday on September the 1st.
Yep.
And that's how it'll be run. But so we have the championship trophy done. We have the logo done. And I'll be posting this stuff up here in a little while. I'm going to give some guys a chance to listen to the playback of this and let them know. And then, like I said, if you look at the graphics that I sent you, I'm just going to extend the box. And then underneath it, it's just going to say the time and date and where it's going to be and things like that. Now, I probably won't be able to put the date right away because it's still going to be a what can Cody do type of deal. But we'll get it all figured out. But at the end of the day, you get to host the championship for the first season. And remember, gentlemen, if we do the Pro Bowl, which, like I said, seems to be getting an overwhelming love, whoever wins the championship in this league will host the championship the following year. So whoever gets to the championship in Victory Bowl 1 this year and you win, not only do you win the title, you win the right to host the championship the next season. And the one who loses would host the Pro Bowl if we do a Pro Bowl game. I'm going to throw this out here over the air too, because I want feedback on this immediately. I'm always preparing for everything that we can do to make this league better. So it's never too early to prepare for next season. I hate the attitude of, oh, this season's going on, we can talk about it in the off season. That's just stupid. The more you talk about it, the sooner you talk about it, the more often you can get on the topic, the better it is for the league. So I'm always trying to think of ideas to make us different, to separate us from the competition. We have coppers. No one else has the coppers. That makes us different. Okay, we only have 2 golds, thus therefore adding more emphasis on which golds are your golds. You don't have the option of that additional gold like some leagues and other locations and other places. I've actually found another all-pro league that does what we're doing. But the fact of the matter is we do little things to make us different. I want to add a new rule for next season if guys are interested in it called the diamond in the rough. Chris, I've already mentioned this to you and you like the idea. Real simple. If you look at real football, just about every single team, every single season has that one player who steps up that you didn't see coming. He's like, damn, where would we be without him this year? Like when Michael Crabtree joined my Raiders, he was just a receiver coming in because he was just whatever. Well, Crabtree right now is our number 1 receiver. He's over Amari Cooper.
I'll argue that.
He is. The stats prove it. The stats prove it. His stats are better than Coop's right now. So he's a diamond in the rough, so to speak. He come out of nowhere, and I don't care who you are, and I don't care who your team is. You have a guy you can say, this is ours. It's just the way it is. I want to allow the IFL to have that same opportunity. And this is the concept to the rule. You build your roster, no different than what you did this year. You set up who's your golds, who's your silvers, who's your bronze, who's your coppers. You give them their abilities. You get within the salary cap. When you are done, you keep this to yourself and yourself only. I don't care if you want to tell your coaches that's your problem. You want to tell a staff member that's your problem. You want to tell the players on your team that's your problem. As the owner, you can keep it to yourself. You may pick one guy that's going to be your diamond in the rough. Now, if you give him a gold or silver tier, to me, he should already be a guy you suspect to do something. Bronze and coppers, maybe not so much. So you may pick a bronze and you may pick a copper. And just for easy numbers and easy way to describe this, let's just say you pick a bronze to be your diamond in the rough. He would get 1 additional ability added to his build for free that no one knows about. So if you go look at the owners' pages right now, the first team pops up is Arizona. First bronze is outside linebacker DJ Quick. It says $8 million because he has 4 abilities. If he had a 5th ability, it would say $10 million. Well, as the diamond in the rough, he could have that 5th ability, but it would still only show $8 million because no one knows who's got the extra free ability. If you make it a copper, well, since he's even lower tiered, give him, say, 2 free abilities. So it says outside linebacker, Booby St. Brown, $3 million. It's $1 million a piece. If he's got 5, it should say $5 million. But those 2 extra abilities make him the diamond in the rough. No one knows who has it. And it would become to owner, team, however you want to do it, your discretion, who gets to be the diamond in the rough. And again, I just use those as examples. 1 ability, 2 abilities. Coppers should get more abilities than a bronze. We can discuss this as owners and as staff and as a league, how many abilities we could do. So, I mean, you want to say, let's put 2 free abilities on a bronze and 3 on a copper. I'm down with whatever if this is something guys like. But this is definitely a rule I'm interested in passing. I think it could add some interest because when you prepare for a team, especially in week 1, week 2, week 3, you might say, damn, who's that diamond in the rough? Who should I really prepare for? because he's only got 3 abilities. Could he be sitting here with 4, 5, 6 abilities, depending on what we set for the rules? It can make things very, very interesting. And to me, it adds a lot of emphasis to teams possibly wanting to carry third corner, a second free safety, third, fourth receivers. They can now have a much more stronger ability base on these players. So you never know. So it's just something that I'm interested in doing. I want everybody to think about it, message me on it, get the discussion going, put it up on the boards if you hear about it. It's just an interesting feature. So before I go too long on the show, because I know I got to go get my kids off the bus in about 10 minutes. Chris, like I said, I discussed this with you. I'll let you throw out your thoughts on this idea real quick.
Really, for me, I think it's a great idea because you look at it from actual football, from an actual football standpoint. For an example, you look at the New England Patriots. I mean, they're always coming up with diamonds in the rough, like almost every season. I mean, like who the hell was Chris Hogan? I mean, like I have not heard this dude until all of a sudden he gets on the Patriots and then he start lighting people up. Danny Amendola, I've heard of, but he was never that good until he got on the New England Patriots. Now maybe that's just because of their scheme, but at the same time, it'd be those kind of players that just come out of nowhere and then they just start killing people. Antonio Brown's another good example. Came out of the 6th round and then all of a sudden, you know, he's an elite wide receiver. He's getting paid a ton of money right now. So for me, if anything, this is a great idea. I mean, I like this idea. I mean, it's like what Doug said. It's like what you said, Doug. I mean, it's only until really they find out who that guy is. I mean, like when they find out who he is, that's the guy they're gonna be trying to scheme against, if they can scheme against, because really it's just a great idea. Can't have it go any better. It actually gives more values to the bronze and to the copper players when you do have something like that called the diamond in the rough.
Right.
So, if anything, for me, I really do like the idea.
Right. And I'm always down for other ideas, other suggestions, other thoughts. I don't care what it is. If you have an idea, gentlemen, tell me. I'm open to all ideas. I have another idea that was thrown at me just the other day, and I'll just throw it out real quick. Someone said, can we have a platinum player?
Oh, I heard that before.
And I was like, okay, explain the platinum player. And they said, keep the current team build we have and add a 15th star player to every team, and the platinum player be above all, maybe above all. And I was like, okay, how's it work? They said all platinum players, and this was how it was described to me. They said, since there's no platinum base in the game, if everybody remembers how we did the coppers, we took the coppers and we bumped them up 5 at every aspect. This person said, take the gold tier, bump that up 5 across the board, and the platinum player gets to have 5 abilities.
Oh my god!
I was like, wait, what? I'm interested in every idea. Like I said, I can see how this could be fun. I can see how that could be interesting. But at the same time, I was like, God damn, what are you talking about?
Yo!
+5, and by default, there's no negotiating. He must carry 5 abilities. And I'm thinking, okay, by copper, bronze, silver, gold, so everybody knows how the math works, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 million. Does this mean that a platinum player is an automatically $25 million cap hit? And this gentleman said yes. And since it's 25 million, raise the league cap 20 million. So they have to really force the other 5 million in somewhere, which made it.
You know what's crazy? You look back at the team build now. Guess who's the highest paid player right now in the Internet Football League?
David Cox.
That's David Cox. And you can already assume he has like 5 abilities right now. So if this was active right now, he'd be the platinum player.
So I mean, the whole idea was just like, wow. I understand the idea. I understand the concept. I'm not sold on it one way or the other just yet. But I definitely wanted to throw it out there so guys know, hey, I was given this thought. I was giving this discussion. I was giving it, so you can think about it within your head. Maybe you can tweak either idea that we've just mentioned. I know for me personally, I'm 100% sold on the idea of a diamond in the rough, but it will not be used unless it's an overwhelming yes, we got to do this. So that's just how I feel about it. Please bear
Man.
with me. Please bear with me as well this week as I get the website completely updated. The main page should be a lot better than it's been. I had to fix the HTML a little bit, but it's now up and looking better.
I don't know what's more scary, the diamond in the rough or the platinum. Like, I mean, like, could you add like extra abilities to the platinum? Because from what he said, you have to have 5 automatically.
Yeah, it's 5
Add
automatically.
one more.
You can have 5 and no more. And I look at it this way: if you're getting a +5 across the board and you're a gold, you don't even need 5 abilities. That's insane. I think getting 5 abilities is just nuts on a guy that's going to be that good, that special. Because I mean, you look at the way players are built to begin with, and the way they're set up to begin with. It's just like, god damn, they're going to just be. It's going to be a dominant player. That'd be just an overly dominant player, in my opinion. That's the reason why I was like, when I thought about it. But at the same time, you have them in real life, overly dominant players.
Man.
Now I want us to be as realistic as possible. I don't want us to have
But let's be honest, that is kind of realistic. You gotta look at it from there. I mean,
I don't want a significantly flawed league. I want a league that's realistic.
true, I give you that. But let's be honest, the platinum idea, that's also realistic. I mean, you gotta look at it from here. There is some players, like say, well, I'll take it from the NFL again, where you could consider straight up platinum players. They're just on another tier.
Right.
I mean, like
Tom
Tom
Brady.
Brady's one of them, even though he's a system quarterback. Tom Brady's one of them. I mean, like he's one of them. Ndamukong Suh's another one. The way how he dominates in the 3-4. I mean, it's just
Khalil Mack.
yeah, him, Khalil Mack.
Yeah.
I mean, like
These
like
guys be platinums.
exactly. I mean, they're platinums all across the board. There's no way that anyone could like dispute that. I mean, like
So
let's be honest, the platinum idea that's not bad either. But it was like you said. But it was like you said. I mean, the gold players are basically platinum as it is.
yeah, if you build them right, yeah. But like I said, I wanted to throw it out there since it was a legit idea that was presented to me. The person put thought into it, really thought about it. They even thought how we could restructure the salary cap to fit them in and everything else. Because they was like, I just don't want to say it's going to cost $25 million for the platinum, and we just add $25 million to the cap. Now it defeats the purpose. Lower the cap $5 million, so we go 20 instead of 25. It makes the owners work their salary cap, and you add in the diamond in the rough idea. If we did both, the $5 million you're losing, you could make up for that by adding the 2-3 abilities to your diamond in the rough player. So
Yep.
there could be some strategy in there and whatever. But if you ain't got no more final thoughts, I'm just gonna tell guys, think about any more ideas, suggestions, and it don't even have to just be build ideas. It can be anything that is going to improve the league. Fire the message at me. But if Chris doesn't have any more final thoughts, we're going to wrap this episode up. As a father, I got to get to the bus stop here in like 3 minutes. So, Chris, if you got anything else you want to throw out, you can do that real quick, and then we'll wrap this one up, and then I'll probably hit you up here in a little bit.
I'm good.
All right. Well, I appreciate you calling in and helping us out on this one. And Ed, he had to get off here a little earlier. Hopefully he's feeling better because he's been under the weather now for a little bit. So, all right, for Ed Ritter, Chris Davis, Doug Boast has been inside the IFL. We should be coming back at you on Friday with a pregame special, so to speak. Be the same place, same time. So until we catch your ass down the road, later.
Yep.